guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here in Austin, Texas for the Texas Truck Rodeo, and even though we don't have a truck, there's plenty of SUVs at this event. I have a 2021 Alfa Romeo Stelvio. This one is the TI Sport with all-wheel drive. But before we dive into this Italian SUV, let's talk about Alfa Romeo. This iconic Italian brand from Milan, Italy, started all the way back in 1910, if you could believe that. So much rich racing history, so much heritage and passion. Well, guess what? Fast forward to the 21st century, Alfa Romeo is bringing it, and they're bringing it many different ways, especially with their SUV known as the Stelvio. When looking at this vehicle, you're going to get that great Italian style, and guess what? There's some performance and there's some changes for the 2021 model year. So let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out, is this the perfect luxury sport SUV from Alfa Romeo? Right off the bat, the style. Pure Italian flair. I love the bright white. We have some nice red leather interior, which we'll get to in a little bit, but let's start up at the front end of the business. I love what they have done on the Stelvio with the headlight design. Everything is blacked out on the interior. You do have that nice wraparound with the daytime running lamp. You have your bi-xenon headlights, gonna give you a nice bright light at night. Work your way down. Look at the way they curve the front fascia. You do have this nice hexagonal design, little bit of functionality to it, which is good, so we don't have to zonk it. And even the way they extend the front fascia, that's actually going to give us some downforce, believe it or not. When we come across that front grille, so representative of the brand. I don't care, you could be on the moon and you would know that this is an Alfa Romeo. The way that you do is from this triangle shape, little bit of gloss black. There is that rich heritage, that company from Milan, one of the most beautiful badges in the history of the automobile. Now, if you notice the serpent, you'll see the person there. For many, many years, people thought that the serpent, or like the old wives' tale, is that the man is being eaten by the serpent. It's not. That's actually a crusader that was able to go across this great journey and survive coming out of the serpent. So that's what Alfa Romeo is all about. But I love that nice hexagonal shape with the grille low and high. And then as we rise up, look at the way they actually took the front fascia to kind of wrap around that Alfa Romeo badge. It has a nice rise, nice thickness to the actual fascia before you touch the hood. And then the hood is super clean. Rise on one side for the passenger side, the driver's side, everything goes towards those 8 pillars. And in the truest of Italian design, it really looks like a piece of art. Now, when we come around the bend, I love what's happening here. First of all, they color match all the way around the fender, so no flat black plastic. Feast your eyes on these beautiful wheels. So you're gonna get this gunmetal gray. It's a dark, dark gunmetal gray wheel. Love the design. It's a 20-inch wheel. Even the way that they kind of do the blacked out on the badging, super, super clean. You're gonna get those 4-piston calipers with the classic Alfa Romeo script on it, ventilated brakes, and then of course you're gonna get adaptive suspension because you have that DNA controller, which I'm gonna show you when we get to the interior. But boy, oh boy, the white with the gunmetal gray, that's Italiano. We go down the side, you have this metallic black mirror caps, slim and trim on the turn signals. We do have roof rails, they're the same exact metallic black. They're nice and low. You're gonna have a panoramic sunroof, and from the side, the wonderful lines both down below and up high for the belt line, and you can see how it sort of angles back as you get into the rear passenger door. That side sill extension kind of curves down, all about aerodynamic flow. Remember, we got all-wheel drive, so we're gonna be getting power to the ground. Even the way they kind of smooth out the line on the rear pillar, low, super low roof spoiler extension. And wait until you see. You think that this is too angled, that it's gonna actually hurt your vision from behind the wheel. They really got the back glass so angled. I've never seen it this angled on an SUV, and it looks really, really sporty. You have your Q4 badge. That means we have that all-wheel drive. I like the tasteful, it's just red and a little bit of nice metallic black. Taillights, same as the headlights, really clean design. Look at how they did the exhaust. You're gonna have that metallic black, one on each side, as it should be. A little bit of that metallic black in the center, black down on the Stelvio badge. But boy, oh boy, this thing is very unique. Why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this Italian SUV. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts. First of all, I want to show you, look at that massive strut tower brace that goes from one side to the other. That's going to stiffen up the front end of the Stelvio. Engine is very far back to that firewall. What are we looking at underneath that tasteful engine cover? You're looking at a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine in our TI Sport, 208 horsepower, 306 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to a slick shifting 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60, 5.4 seconds, top speed 144 miles an hour. MPGs, not too shabby, 22 in the city, 28 on the highway. I think the other big talking point about the Stelvio is, believe it or not, for an SUV, this vehicle has 50-50 weight distribution, perfect 50-50 weight distribution. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside the Stelvio, this Italian SUV. I know you're at that point, you're like, Joe, I've been looking for a luxury sport SUV that has that little extra something. I've been thinking German, but after watching some of this, I'm thinking I want some pasta and some meatballs on top of that with some parm, some nice shaved parm on that. How much is this Stelvio? You're looking at an MSRP, the way that this one is optioned, it's a TI Sport with all-wheel drive. It's MSRP of $59,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Love the leather work. They know how to do leather work at Alfa Romeo. The red contrast stitching. I'm loving that silver trim. And the two-tone material with the optional Harman Kardon sound system is looking drop dead sexy. Door pocket size, you could easily get 10 cannolis in there and a bottle of milk to wash it all down. Now, as we go from the door panel to the dash, tasteful on the AC vents, a little bit of silver. I'm loving this trim here. I wish more manufacturers would kind of broaden faux carbon fiber and black plastic. Like, it's nice to have something a little different. The leather, nice and flat all the way across. This is all new for 2021. So that's an 8.8-inch infotainment system. Can you touch it? Of course you could touch it. You could go into your different selections, go back to home, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Very, very nice, easy to use. The silver is great. And once again, like I said, when you touch it, there we are in Austin, Texas, literally in the middle of nowhere. And nice swipe features. So that's really, look how easy it is. Let's see if we go all the way to space. Sometimes I like to see if we can see ourselves from space. And there we are, planet Earth. Nice. Alfa Romeo, what can I say? The silver trim, you drop down. You do have dual climate controls, which is wonderful, and you would come to expect at this price point. Where you're getting it though, look at the nice stitch work. Really, really loving that whole setup. You got a 12 volt, a USB. Let me get the key fob out of here because I want to show you that later. But look, yes, all nice trim all the way across. Italian breath mint holder. After you're eating those cannolis, nobody wants to kiss somebody with cannoli breath. That's going to control that 8-speed automatic. Look at the stitch work. Look at the leather. Real nice with the silver trim. And you got the tricolore. Italiano Familia right there. Let me throw it in reverse. I forgot to do that. Back into reverse. Now the Zonk is very, very small screen. You got 8.8 inches of visual pleasure, but that's not 8.8 inches. Somebody lied. Somebody fibbed. So a little bit smaller on the backup camera, but you do have trajectory, which is nice. And we have our sensory technology all the way around. I'll put it back in the park. There's Earth. We know we're safe. You do have your volume control knob, very easy to get to. This is that DNA knob. So you could actually adjust the suspension, everything, all by the twist of a knob. We're going to play with that more as we go through our different drive. You have also a direct drive control knob. So if you want to control the navigation with the knob, you could do that very easily. Look, there's Earth. Get ready, we're going to zoom in. Now we are here at Austin, Texas. And then let me show you the graphics on that. Look at that DNA. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to stay in that dynamic mode and really have some fun. Wireless charging, you just drop your phone right in the slot. Semi-soft, but it's leather, and I'm loving the red. Open it up. You do have some wireless charging, like I said, and you have some felt lining, so you're not going to scratch your family jewels. USB, USB-C, and an aux jack, and then the seats. Look at that, Alfa Romeo. Love the red, love the leather all the way down. You do have your hand hamstring extension, which is great, especially for people with longer legs. Nice bolstering too. Great on the bottom and the top, and you have electric assist for the passenger and the driver, and a nice size panoramic sunroof. To top it off, you get to stare at that beautiful key fob. It's a little large, but you know what? I love the logo there. On the back, you have the buttons. Real easy to read. But why don't you come over to the business end, because there's a sexy flat bottom steering wheel I want to introduce. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You got a nice, simple aluminum sill panel here. It says Alfa Romeo. And then here's the bigger surprise. As we go from the sill, check out the size of that dead pedal. Unbelievable, the size with the aluminum brake pedal and throttle, nicely placed. And then seat controls, easy to get to. I like the bolstering. I have to admit, the bolstering is very sporty in here. Plenty of headroom. I'm 6 feet tall. I haven't shrunk yet, so still 6 feet tall, but this is what I wanted to show you. First of all, look at how they actually notched up the bezels here for your gauges. They brought the leather, they raised it up, gives it such a classy look, but this steering wheel is drop dead sexy. You have your start stop button right on the steering wheel like a race car, flat bottom, that beautiful Alfa Romeo logo, flat black on the buttons. I like the way they use 2 different pieces of leather, and the 10 and 2 notches are awesome. And then the gauges, analog, tach, analog speedometer, and then you have a nice digital display in the center where you could toggle through a cornucopia of information. But boy, oh boy, Alfa Romeo, this is where they bring those extra touches that maybe you're not gonna get from one of those German brands. But we talked about up front. Let's check out the back seat and see, are your passengers gonna be screaming Italiano all day long? All right, guys, back seat time. Love the red leather everywhere. Now, they did put the plastic, so if you do have kids, you can get that cannoli cream wiped off there. I am gonna zonk the cargo nets. If your kids like to play with knives and they put a knife in here, they're gonna rip it up. Hopefully they're not playing with knives though, but rear AC vents, 2 USBs, and a little cubby for some atomic fireballs. And you know what? For the most part, I'm impressed. I thought I was gonna be squished back here, like a Italian tomato. I have plenty of headroom. I feel actually really good. Let me close this door. Yeah, I feel good back here. It's nice. Armrest. It's hard as a rock, but you know what? It's at a great height, and you do have 2 cup holders, which is wonderful. But why don't we go ahead, let's check out the cargo area and see, can you put a bunch of stuff in a Stelvio? All right, guys, cargo area time. Real simple. You hit the button, step back. You got a little bit of a beep beep dance you could do as it raises up. And what I like off the bat is the low loading floor. Nice and flat. You got your subwoofer back here, so you could rock out to whoop, there it is. We have a nice track system. You see this silver track system? You could actually adjust these. Look at that, depending on what you have back here. That's super smart. The seats are all gonna fold down, plus you have a power source, a 12 volt and LED lighting, and I like the way they put the handles right here to fold those seats down. And you have, in case of an emergency, put that Twinkie box right here so nobody's getting hangry. But why don't we go ahead, the heck with hangry, I wanna get happy. And the way to get happy, let's take this Stelvio for a spin. All right, guys, we're in the new Stelvio with some updates, especially on the interior, that 8.8-inch infotainment system screen. I like the way they integrated it. I just wish it was a little bit larger. I do have it in manual mode, manual shift mode, and remember, we have those massive surfboard style paddles that are attached to the steering column, not to the steering wheel, and guess what? They're actually metal. But let's do a little bit of an acceleration test from a dead stop with the all-wheel drive. Give it some throttle. On throttle, here we go. Fast shifts, smooth shifts. So that's what I really like. And if you notice, no drama whatsoever, because you got the all-wheel drive system transferring that power to the ground very, very smoothly. Now, I do have it in the sport, what would be the sport setting, the D and the DNA, that stiffens the suspension and whatnot. I really, really like the quick steering feel, and having the paddles here, I'm telling you, you'll get used to it, and they feel really good, especially if you need a downshift or upshift in a turn, which usually you shouldn't be downshifting in a turn. You might be grabbing the next highest gear as you're exiting a turn. Never really change gears in a turn, that upsets the chassis. But as we go down this nice twisty road here, having it in manual mode, you're able to keep it in the sweet spot of that 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine. So as you are trailing out, you can get on throttle, and she really pulls. And like I said, the power management getting to the ground is very, very effortless and very smooth. Nice downshifts into this left-hand bend here. It's a little bumpy. It's taking the bumps nice as we're going downhill. Yay! It's like a roller coaster. On the brakes. They did a really good job with the chassis setup, and you're gonna feel that 50-50 weight distribution for sure. But going into this bend, downshift before you enter the turn. Look at the grip. Nice. Coming out, back on throttle. Super duper smooth. And the feedback I'm getting to the wheel, I like. I like the weight to the steering wheel, and I'm also liking the feedback. It's crazy. You look up in your rearview mirror, you have great visibility out that back glass, even though it's sharply raked like it is. Side mirrors are a good size. You got all the safety features, of course, that are gonna make sure that you arrive alive every single time, especially when you have that precious cargo on board. But I'm digging the small changes that they made, especially to the center console area. I'm just waiting for a little bit more exterior redesign. It looks good now. It'd be nice to see what the next evolution of this setup is gonna be. But let's go ahead and do one more acceleration on throttle just for you guys. I know you like the on throttle acceleration tests. Dead stop, first gear, give it some throttle. Here we go. Even uphill, look at this. Nice shifts from that ZF8 speed. So balanced. They did a really good job in that chassis setup. And I'm looking forward to Alfa Romeo bringing more models over to the United States. I'm missing the 4C and definitely the older 8C. But hopefully this gave you a great overall feel of what the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, that TI Sport with the all-wheel drive is all about. We're gonna wrap this one up here at the Texas Truck Rodeo and get back to our location, so I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been a wonderful day out here in the middle of nowhere in Austin, Texas for the Texas Truck Rodeo. I definitely want to thank everybody, Kimberly, the rest of the FCA crew, for getting us access to this 2021 Alfa Romeo. That Stelvio looking good. Is it the standout luxury sport SUV of your dreams? I'm telling you right now, you want to take one of these for a spin because it's going to put a smile on your face from just pure driving enjoyment. You get those fine touches. You have those large metal paddles on the back of the steering wheel to go up and down the gears. Hey, it's definitely worth adding to your list. But if you want to keep seeing luxury sport SUVs here on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content here on Rady's Rides, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it up to my wonderful, lovely, smart, hardworking, intelligent wife, Lori, out here busting her hump in the hot Texas sun to make sure that we get this fiery Italian here for you. So show her some love in the comments, or I'm sending the mafia out after you, and we all know how that ends, cement shoes. So thank you for all that you do, Lori, and just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.